Hello, everyone. It's Margaret Adedeji, your NHS and business strength coach. When I say strength coach, I'm simply talking about how we're trained, or I'm trained to look at your strengths and how we can use that strength to take you forward or advance in your career and also in your business. So this is what I've been trained to do. I've applied it in my own life personally, and it's really worked well for me. So your strength, your ability, your skills, how we can use that for you to advance in your work, in your business, and in every area and department of your life. So that's what the strength coach it's all about. Currently, I'm doing this in the NHS, and those I know in business who's approached me, I've also supported them in this way. Now, just quickly going to the next phase of part two of COVID and me, what's next? Now, I've just quickly put down a few things, especially for us in the healthcare industries. We had what we call the interim people's plan, which was already, we used it kind of to support people during the period of COVID. And then before COVID, so apologies, then COVID now started. And when COVID came, everything changed. When COVID came, we lost families, like I said before, we lost colleagues, we lost our loved ones, and people now gave more of themselves than ever before. You know that, especially those who are close to you, working in the healthcare industries, even people who had retired before came back again into work to come and work, to help people, to save people. People were working 24/7. People who even lost others were still coming to work to come and work. Beloved, we know what happened that time. The public responded. They showed appreciation. They showed their warmth. They were clapping. Now the clapping has now stopped. The clapping has stopped. The clapping for healthcare workers has stopped. But because the clapping has stopped does not mean that we should not look after ourselves. Your mental well-being is very, very important to you. So we must remain at the heart of the NHS and the nation as we do what? We are rebuilding again. Be part of that rebuilding again, rebuilding in your life, rebuilding again in your family, even though someone has been lost, but we've got to carry on. We have to rebuild. Then that is why I just felt this, I need to do this based on where God has put me currently in mental health. I want to just quickly really focus on our mental well-being. And the first, when I remember a few weeks ago, I spoke about the importance of us resting. Now, one of the 5 steps to mental health well-being or mental well-being by NHS is rest is there. Secondly, it talk about it. Make sure you're talking about it. Make sure you're connecting with people. Now, quickly, what exactly is mental well-being? Mental well-being itself is a state of well-being in every individual, in which, every individual realizes his or her own potentials, and then they can cope with the normal stressors of life. They can work productively and fruitfully, and then they are also able to make a contribution to their community. I will take it again. What is mental well-being? Please listen and just apply it to your own personal life. Mental well-being is a state of well-being in which every individual realizes his or her own potentials, then they can cope with the normal stresses or stressors of life. They can work productively and fruitfully, and they are also able to make a contribution to their community. Now, being mentally balanced does not mean that you don't have stresses in life. You will be stresses will come. It's all part of life. It will always come. But it's how you are able to cope with it. That is what we're talking. You'll be able to cope with it. You have a few, how am I going to say it now? You have a few points, a few things that you use to be able to cope with the stresses that comes into your life. And also, this one is very good for the layman. What is mental well-being? Is that it's about your thoughts and feelings and how you cope with the ups and downs of everyday life. very, very simple. Mental well-being is about your thoughts, is about your feeling, is about how you cope with the ups and downs of everyday life. How do you cope with every up and down that comes into everyday life? Unfortunately, when people are not able to cope, that is when they break down. Now, in order to prevent this breaking down, that is why I have this session that I want to be given as the Lord, helps me and enables me on our mental well-being. The first thing we spoke about was on the importance of rest. No matter how little it is, even at work, take time out to rest. One thing I noticed, those who smoke, they go out almost like every 15 minutes in an hour to rest. It's rest when they go out there to rest. But although unfortunately they are smoking, the smoking is not going to do them well. But if only we can all do the same thing, even if you set your time, just make sure that in every hour you're taking time to make sure that you are giving yourself time to rest. And then secondly, make sure you're talking about it. Now, let me quickly give an example of children. You know how our young children do, there's nothing they don't talk about. As soon as they see, they talk about it. We even know, you know yourself, that if you want anything kept secret, you don't tell it to a child. Because as soon as you tell that child, the child will go and tell everybody. Honestly speaking, I'm not saying we should tell everything to everybody, but what I'm saying is that make sure that you have someone that you're talking to. Now, when we talk about it, make sure you are connecting as a way of managing your mental well-being. What do I mean? When you talk about it to somebody, it helps you to stay in good mental health. And it also helps you to deal with times when you feel troubled. When something is troubling you, you have someone to talk to about it. I'm not even talking about counselor here. I'm just talking about everyday life here now. Who are you talking to? Who are you connecting with? Who are you sharing things with? That's what I'm talking about. Now, it's very important. It helps you to stay in good mental health. When you talk about it with someone, you are able to share that trouble, because they said problem shared is half solved, isn't it? And then secondly, why is it important when we share or talk about things and connect? It is part of taking charge of your well-being and doing what you can to stay healthy. It's also a way for you to cope with a problem that you have been carrying around in your heart for a while. At work, one of the things that we do in mental health is that when we're discussing, part of what we do is that we have what we call a zoning meeting. Zoning meeting, we have it, some teams have it 3 times a week, some teams have it twice a week, some teams, like the single point of access, some of them have it every day. Now, the zoning meeting is where you meet together to talk about your clients. You talk about the risk. And the thing is, I always tell people, share the risk. When you're sharing the risk, that means you're offloading your worries with others. And as a team, you're sharing the risk together. And that's exactly how it's important, where we need to talk about things. Have that person that you can share things with and talk about things with, and together you can pray about it. I hope I've been able to bless somebody today. COVID and me, our first point that we spoke about in managing our mental well-being is rest, and secondly is talk about it. Make sure you're connecting with someone and you are talking about it. Beloved, another time I'll meet you again as the Lord permits me. This is me, Margaret Adedeji, your NHS business and strength coach. Please, if you have any question, you can send messages to me on my YouTube channel. You can send messages to me on my Facebook channel. Just inbox me and I will respond. God bless you. Bye-bye. Have a blessed day. Bye-bye.